Let's do that.
So, Riley Blakemore is our pole position driver into the final here for round 1 of the Kart Championship for 2025. Ronnie Jones is alongside. We know how quick Ronnie is. Second row is Archie Cannon and Luke McGull. Gian Prakash and Jack Wykes are on row 3. Row 4 is Elliot Bork and Archie Loveridge, with Arthur Murfett and Mason Becker on row 5. Ollie Knox and Theo Hamilton on row 6. Jerry Dufficy and George Quinlan on row 7. Shailen Srikantan and Dino Rowlands are on row 8. Finley Thursfield and Sawyer Henderson are on row 9. Arthur Roberts and Oliver Ratton are next up on row 10. Row 11 is Harry Search and Reggie Dufficy. Row 12 is Jaden Bond and Bradley Sutton. Then we've got Jensen Fathers and Seth Wright on row 13. Luke Jardine and Joshua Adoti is on row 14. Madison Horsepool and Maximilian Mikalski are next up on row 15. And then rounding off 31 Kart field is Arthur Bath.
And it was one driver late off the grid, the mechanic sprinting down to the grid. And I did notice an Ambition Motorsport kart in the middle of the pack having a brief rotation. But
those cold tyres again, eh?
Yes.
Those pesky cold tyres.
Yes. Now, there we are.
Standing start again for these Honda Cadets, so it's the tension builds. This one we will have engine revs rising before we get going, unlike the electric motored Bambinos.
Yes, the rumble in the jungle, as it were, especially fitting this weekend. And it's a 4-stroke rumble in the jungle. And everyone gets across. Last words of encouragement. The all-important is fist bumps.
There's Ben with the clear the grid.
And this is where the drivers in Bambinos, you still get a couple of dads, kissing their heads. Good luck, son. Love you. Here, I said, I'll take a fist bump, Dad. That's about it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's Ben with the clear grid. We've cleared the grid, and we'll be getting this underway very shortly. It's a sequence of red lights: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the 5-second board, the lights can come on at any moment now. And we just can't quite see the lights, can we, from that angle? So off we go. We are indeed racing. And from the outside of the grid, it looks like Ronnie Jones has just pinched that lead into turn 1. He does it, but he goes wide. And Blakemore says, I'll have that back. And following him through, I think that is that the number 15 of Luke McGull from the outside?
Archie Cannon is also in that group as well. The very, very bright pink liveried kart at the back there. I absolutely love that. That's Madison Horsepool, I think. Well, they're commentator's assistant 101. Paint your go-kart or your crash helmet as bright as possible, because a commentator can always pick you out like that.
Bright pink kart there. Brilliant.
Excellent stuff.
We're going to talk about that one.
Yeah, up at the front there, it's a game on again. Archie Cannon, who was in the thick of the action earlier on, he's got, that's the number 80, is it the number 88 kart of Arthur Murphy in that scrap as well. So that's for the battle of 8th and 9th.
Well, he's just lost a place to the number 14, has he? And of Elliot Bork there, Arthur Murphy just hangs on to the position. The number 14, I think, moved down the inside of Ollie Knox, actually, the number 28, not the number 88. There's the 15. That is the Luke McGull kart chasing down the leader. Riley Blakemore starting on the pole. He's the man to beat in Honda Cadets, or the child to beat, or the boy to beat, depending on what you want to say. He's off towards the back chicane and looking very, very composed there. Meanwhile, Luke McGull was using all of the exit curve at the second centre. The rest of this Honda Cadet field just streamed through the back chicane there. You see how they use the curbs there just to not stifle the engine revs and the momentum of the kart, just allowing it to breathe over the curbs. It's a little bit uncomfortable, of course. The curbs are a lot less smooth than the track, but you've got to use the curbs. You simply have to. Off they go then. 2 laps in the bag. Riley Blakemore, Luke McGull, Archie Cannon, Ronnie Jones, Arthur Murphy, Elliot Bork, Ollie Knox, Archie Loveridge, Mason Becker, and it's Gian Prakash who rounds off the top 10.
We saw Archie Loveridge and the driver who is leading this group of karts, the S-Rate of Archie Cannon. They had, several discussions during the second superheat. I believe those discussions may have continued on into the lunch break in the stewards' room. So they're both starting, I think, perhaps maybe a little bit further back than they would have or could have or even should have, but there's definitely some new names. We haven't, I mean, Luke McGall has played himself into contention right at the right time. Arthur Murfitt, Ollie Knox, Mason Becker, 3 drivers that we've hardly mentioned. Suddenly, when it's the business end of the meeting, they're in the top 10. Whereas another, Jack Wykes, who we've spoken about, he's down in 28th position at the moment, and a few other drivers who are a little bit further back than you would expect.
We've got the usual effect that Honda Cadets have. So the S plate there. That's
there's some waving
Archie
going on
Cannon,
there.
and now we've got a change of lead.
Yes.
We've got a change of lead. I'm not sure what the waving was about, but Riley Blakemore doesn't like something that's been going on there. Maybe.
There's a Battenburg flag out.
Right, okay.
And there's a cart coming out of St John's. There is a cart parked backwards in the barrier. Driver sat in the cart.
That's what
Mr. Action.
That's what Riley Blakemore was waving at.
Yes.
Because Luke McGall clearly didn't see the Battenburg, and when Riley was slowed down for it, that was when McGall said, "Oh, thanks, I've got the lead."
And to be fair to Luke McGall, he then realised.
Yes, yeah.
And then okay, no.
And he settled it back. Right, okay.
And unlike the junior primos, these Honda Cadet drivers have actually
read
slowed
the regs.
down.
They've read the regs, haven't they?
Because I did ask what the situation was, why we had a red flag, and Mr. Ashton was simple. It's quite simple. They were going too fast. They wouldn't slow down. And then we had carts spinning under what is a safety cart situation, so I red flagged it.
It was too fast.
It was too fast.
It says, read the regs.
Read the regs. You're too
half-race
fast.
speed.
Important lesson learned. It's your track time you're wasting, drivers. And so the Honda Cadet drivers are obeying the rules. The driver who has gone out of the race, it was Arthur Roberts. Was it Arthur Roberts or Arthur Bath?
No, Arthur Bath has just come through here.
Yes. So it's Arthur Roberts who is out of his cart and walking away. So the cart is now next to the barriers. Track staff here at Karting North East have done their job, and we are, I would assume, getting ready to go racing again with just under 5 minutes plus a lap to go.
So the Battenburg flag, effectively the lead car takes up the position of like a safety car and controls the pace of the whole field bunch up like you're under full course caution, and then we go green where the Battenburg flag is pulled in, and we go green. We could go green this time by, or we might leave it another lap. Usually it's either or. We don't know what's going on out there. The clock has continued ticking, so it still ticks on down. We've got just over 4 minutes remaining, and we have gone green as we approach the start-finish straight, and it will be Riley Blakemore with Luke McGall right on his bumper. Luke McGall pulls off to the left. Blakemore takes the inside line on the inside entry, and McGall has...
Yes.
failed there by leaving the gap for the S-plate of Archie Cannon, who slipped through there.
The freight train has come through.
It absolutely was. He was waiting for the door to be open. And who's this? This is Ronnie Jones. Ronnie Jones on the orange cart, right on the tail now of Arthur Murfitt. And Murfitt has gone ahead of Luke McGall. Luke McGall has been caught out on this restart and now finds himself what I think is fifth spot. Yeah, fifth spot there.
And again, it has been... I have to say, McGall has dropped from second to fifth, or maybe even sixth. He's just about hung on to fifth position. But of course, that's the risk that you run. The door opens and everybody else comes flooding through. Cannon started that move by being particularly aggressive going through Brian's Bend, and that forced McGall offline. And then these two drivers, the number 88 of Murfitt, now I'm trying to see, is that a Rob Saw racing cart or is that another privateer engine? Not quite sure. And then the 70 of Ronnie Jones, they slotted, they saw a gap, they thought fantastic. Archie Loveridge is the first driver who's now having a look at as McGall, as Elliot Bork runs wide afterwards, and we've got a new leader.
Yeah, we have. Into the chicane, into the back chicane has gone the Scottish champion Archie Cannon, who was a beautiful move out of the second centre. He had the inside line, They're already at the gasworks hairpin though, and he's consolidated that lead with a bit of a breather, bit of a breathing space. Blakemore will want to get back onto the rear bumper of that S-Plate kart as he comes out of the final turn. It'll be 7 laps completed this time by, and with still 2 minutes remaining, it's getting to that witching hour, isn't it?
Yes.
This is where you want to be in a position to get on the podium, and even better, to get into the front of this field. But I tell you what, Henry, 4 karts now coming together, almost 5, could even be 6 by the time we get round to the start finish.
Now we know what the Honda Cadet drivers were doing during the mighty Bambino final. They were listening to us, and they heard the challenge that was laid down to them, and they thought, yes. we shall not go quietly into the night. We shall give Joe Bradley a headache when it comes to him deciding what his race of the month is going to be. Thank you, drivers. Challenge accepted. There's a move. That is Murfitt suddenly moving into P2. After not being in the top 5 all morning, we got a minute and change to go, and Murfitt now finds himself in with a chance of taking the win.
And Riley Blakemore's wondering what on earth he has to do here. He started from pole into this final. We are almost, in fact, we are now inside the final minute, and 1 lap remaining after that minute has concluded. So maybe 3 laps to go. Archie Cannon using the curb there on the exit of the dogleg. He's under pressure here. Murfitt is looking racy and down the inside, side by side, through the first of the centres. Blakemore forces him wide. Around the outside has come the 73 of Archie Loveridge, and it's Loveridge in third, Blakemore now in second. Oh, and there's Ronnie Jones. Ronnie Jones latches onto the back as well. It's vicious out there, isn't it? But it's, you know what? It's quite clean racing what we're seeing here.
Yeah. I mean, it's the last lap of a national level final. Those elbows have to be sharp. It's simple as that. And if they're not, there's only one direction you're going, and it's down. And the order.
And oh my goodness, 10 seconds on the clock. 2 more laps. And this is playing nicely into the hands of Archie Cannon. Archie Cannon is loving what, you know what, if it was a race car, he'd have mirrors, he'd be able to see all the action that's kicking off behind him. He hasn't though. So he's going to think that he's got an absolute bumper full of karts. He hasn't. He's got a massive breathing space. He looks over his shoulder.
Now he knows.
Now he knows he's got a gap. He can't relax though, can he?
Absolutely not.
Because that gap can just disappear in a blink of an eye, and it's beginning to disappear already.
Third in last year's Honda Cadet Kart Championship standings. 6th in the British Honda Cadet Championship standings. He then adds the S-Plate, the Scottish Super Series, to his tally. And he's now 1 lap away from taking the early season championship lead, and the opening final of the 2025 season is Archie Cannon. Another look over the shoulder. I think that could be, I think Blakemore has realised I'm in the fight for seconds. The battle for the win is over. He's got Murfitt, Jones, Loveridge, McCall and Bork for company.
Who's going to be second, I think, as Archie Cannon on the S-Plate goes through St John's and looks over his shoulder again. He's got a huge gap there. Riley Blakemore is second. Arthur Murfitt is third, but behind them is a queue of karts that want those positions that will get them onto the second and third step of the podium. And we've got a change for third as the number 73 of Archie Loveridge comes alongside. And who's it going to be? They're all behind Blakemore now. This is the battle for third. They've broken away. First and second have broken away as we go through the horseshoe for the final time. It's anybody's race, but right now it's Arthur Murfitt who's on that third step. Who can change this at paddock? Nobody is the answer. As the checkered flag flies, the Scottish champion adds round 1 of the Kart Championship to his tally of wins and takes a very fine win from Riley Blakemore in second. It was Arthur Murfitt, Henry, that just hung on by the skin of his teeth to that third position.